Hey everyone, Mark Klein here. So this year we're doing some stuff a little different. Last year I put out a video of how I made the food plot over here with the old plow and the rototiller. So this year I made a little map so you can see what I'm going to do here. So what I'm standing in right here is food plot number 1 on the map. It's just a little hump that's inside the woods here. The deer like it because they're kind of secluded in there. It looked kind of, from the aerial view, it kind of looks like a pear, the shape of a pear. So we're going to work that up. Last year or 2 years ago, I planted whitetail edge in here. It grew really good the first year. Last year it didn't look so hot. So this year we're going to till this up and we'll put some rape and some radish in there, and we'll see how that grows. Those are annuals, so they'll grow 1 year and they'll be done. And I think that's what I'm going to go with, because the perennial stuff, it grows good the first year or two maybe, and then after that it's just all the weeds take over and it really doesn't grow well. So I'm just going to start doing the annuals. I'll just plow it up every year and throw the seed down, and we'll try that for a while and see how that works. So I'm spraying the field with this stuff called glyphosate. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically a Roundup wannabe. I get it at Menards. It's like half the price of Roundup. I think it works pretty good. It kills anything that's green that you spray it on. So we'll see how it does here when we come up on Memorial Weekend. Right now the grass isn't really, some areas it's growing pretty good, but others it's not. So I might just be spraying the weeds in between the grass, and when we get back up here it might be all grass. So we'll see what it looks like when we come back up on Memorial Weekend. You still in there? Oh yeah. Hey, long time no see. So it's Memorial Weekend. It's like an 80-degree day here. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I sprayed this 2 weeks ago when I was up here, and you can see behind my four-wheel there, it's still growing. So what I sprayed died, and the next stuff grew right up behind it. So we got the plow hooked up here. We're just going to go rip this up here, and we're going to try and get this seeded today. You get the idea there. This food plot's been tilled up since 2007. I started doing this one here. It doesn't have that thick weed bed like the one over there that I did last year does, because we've been tilling it up for so many years. And hopefully that one will be like that in a few years too, where there's nothing there but the current weeds that are growing. So this tills up pretty easy. There's pretty nice dirt. There's no roots in it anymore hardly, and it should grow really nice. So we'll go get the rototiller and we'll get this all tilled up. So today we're going to put down some lime, some fertilizer, then we're going to rototill in the food plot again, and work that all in, and then we're going to lay seed down later today. So what I use is I use a pelletized lime. These are little granules, so they spread easily with a fertilizer spreader. Pick that up at a Menards or any home center you can find. And then the fertilizer I'm using, this is just an all-purpose fertilizer, 10-10-10. That's the only thing I can find in the stores around here. Some of the other guys on YouTube have showed some other numbers here, like 20 or 12 or whatever. I don't know where those are. You know, I don't know where to get those at. But this 10-10-10 is very common around here in the garden centers at the Menards and those type of places. So that's what I'm using, and I'm just spreading it with a little fertilizer spreader, and we're going to go at it here and spread this around the field. Now, as far as the lime goes, you know, you talk to the seed manufacturers, or they'll send you can send in a sample and whatever, and they'll come back with this enormous number of lime you need to put down on your field to neutralize the soil. I mean, that gets expensive, you know. So this here is like $4 a bag or something, you know. I'll put down 2 or 3 bags, and that'll be it, you know. And I have not had any problems with the seeds germinating or growing good, you know. So so this is the way we do it up here in the Northwoods. Well, there you go. I got it all rotor tilled up. Had to go 4-wheeling for a couple hours. I'm back at it. Get some seed laid down in the morning. Tamper in. So we're ready to throw down some seed. I picked up this stuff here at one of the sports shows I go to each year. 5 pounds of rape and 5 pounds of turnip. There's no instructions with it, so I really don't know how much I'm supposed to put down of this to plant. But so we're just going to make our own concoction. We're going to mix a little of this and a little of this together. And then I got some of my my power plant left over from last year. We're gonna mix some of that in there too, and we're gonna make our own little food plot here of whatever. We'll throw that in the fertilizer spreader, and we'll spread it out, and then we're gonna go over it with the 4-wheeler just like we did last year. I think I'm gonna start out with a half a bag of each. Throw in some of this power plant. Mix it all up good. Alright, got that all mixed together. Let's lay her down. Great. We're going to pack that in with the 4-wheeler like we did last year, and we'll see what it looks like in a couple weeks. So if you watch all the hunting channels like I do, you probably saw some on there about peanut butter and deer, whether they like it or not. Well, I guess the proof is in the pudding, or better yet, peanut butter. I have not looked at my video cards yet, but I assume this was done by the deer. Day 2 here in the Northwoods. It's Saturday, Memorial Weekend. I looked at my videos last night. There's 3 culprits eating the peanut butter. First there's the squirrel. Then there's the raccoon. And then there's a young deer. Now, after what I've seen on my video cameras, I would not recommend putting peanut butter out for deer. Okay, they were very skittish of this container itself, not so much the peanut butter, but the container itself hanging on the tree. The corn pile was only a couple feet away here, and they ate all the corn and ignored this peanut butter until the corn was gone and they had nothing else to eat. Then they finally went and ate peanut butter. As far as a good source of attracting deer, I would not use peanut butter. It is not going to work for you. It scares the deer. Now maybe if you took the peanut butter and mixed it with the corn, maybe, but not in this form of application here. Putting it out here with the container, they did not like it at all. Okay, it's June 9th, 2018. This is the seed we put down 2 weeks ago. It's looking pretty good. The deer should be happy. How's everybody been? It is around the beginning of August, end of July, and I brought you out here to show you the food plot. I don't know if I told you this in one of the earlier videos, but this is food plot number 2, the one I made the video of last year. We expanded this. We almost tripled the size of it this year. So I'll take you back and I'll show you some of the work we did to triple the size of this plot. We're going to go right between the 2 rocks here and then go down to those other trees there, and then we're going to go around over to the other trees over there, and cover this all in so that they're kind of secluded back here in their own little corner. The other thing I've been doing is all the trees I've been cutting, I've been kind of laying them here and making a wall. And the wall is intended to keep the deer on a steady path. So they'll come out to the field, but they'll have to come through right over here. There's a little opening right over here. That's where they're going to have to come through, because they won't be able to get through here anymore. And I'm trying to force them to come out in a certain area into the field so that they come and go through that point in the field. Eventually, way down at the end, you see the trail winding around down there. Way down at the end down there, there's going to be food plot number 3. And that's going to be even more secluded than this one up here. This one's kind of out and open. That's going to be secluded also down there. And I got these white oaks and chestnuts all the way down. I planted a whole row all the way down, and then 100 feet over in the field there, you see some more. That's another row all the way down. Here's the hybrid white oaks now that they've leafed out. They're close to 3 feet tall. Here's the hybrid chestnut. That's also, well, it might be a little more than 3 feet tall. So that'll give us, acorns and chestnuts, and we'll have the food plot every year planted. So this should turn into a pretty good habitat here after a while. It takes a while. It's going to take a while to cut all the rest of these trees, and it's going to be years before I get this done. And I will have a nice hunting area here when I retire. Hey, I got the rest of these bigger trees cut down here. So it's all cleared out. A lot of raspberries. Rocks I can't do nothing about. Those are big rocks. You dig down, they just keep going. So we just go around the rocks. We're going to spray it. We'll plow it up. Memorial weekend, we'll plow it up. I got a really nice day today. A lot of bugs out here. And I completed the wall. Roger Waters would be proud of me. Goes from there, it goes all the way along here. over to that opening where the deer are going to come out. Well, that'll be their little sanctuary back there behind all these trees. Now, I tried some hinge cutting this spring. I have pretty much spruce and popple up here in the North Woods, so it really didn't work well with those types of trees. The spruce snapped right off instantly. The popple seemed like it dropped correctly. The popple is the one back here behind it. That seemed like it dropped correctly, but it's dead. There's no leaves growing anymore or nothing, so I'm assuming that was not the way to do it. So another suggestion was made to me that you just cut some of these bigger trees down and the smaller stuff will grow up, and we'll make this a real thick area here. So I may just try and do that, because the trees I have don't seem to work for the hinge cutting. You can see back here I sprayed last time we were up, and whatever I sprayed looks like it died, and then the new grass, the green stuff, is the new grass that wasn't growing yet. Now that's up. So I'm just going to plow it up, see what it looks like after I plow it. Well, I got most of it worked up. That middle area there is a little green yet. That's pretty hard plowing. It just doesn't want to come loose. I'll spray some more this weekend and I'll plow it again tomorrow. And hopefully within 2 weeks when I'm ready to plant this, it'll be all worked up real nice. June 9th, 2018. We're going to rip this up one more time and then try and get it seeded this weekend. It's been raining a little bit, so I got the rain suit on. It shouldn't take too long. We dug it up the last time we were up here on Memorial Weekend. A little bit of green growing out there. Not too bad though. I thought it would be worse. Got the family reunion today, so I ain't gonna have a whole lot of time. So we're gonna rip her up this morning and hopefully seed it tomorrow. Hopefully the rain holds out a little bit so we got some dry and we're not working in the mud. But we only got this weekend to get her done, so that's the way it is. Alright, good enough. We're gonna go get the rotor tiller. So just like on food plot number 1, we're going to put down some lime and some coconut. Oh, never mind, that ain't right. Some lime and some fertilizer. Using the four-wheeler and my fertilizer spreader I brought from home. This will make it go a little quicker on this bigger field. So let's get that going. Got that set at about a 5. Pretty good at a 5. Alright, rotor tiller time. We're going to rotor till in this lime and fertilizer, and hopefully we can get some seed down tomorrow morning. This old rotor tiller works pretty good. It pulverizes all them roots and that grass and stuff. Really actually does a pretty nice job and smooths it out a little bit so when I plant the seed. I think if I had to buy a unit, if I was going to go out and buy a unit, I think I would buy a small tractor with a power takeoff on it that runs a rear rotor tiller. I think that would really do a nice job on making these smaller food plots like this. So keep that in mind, use it for whatever you want, but this thing has a little problem with the rocks and stuff. I think a little bit bigger unit, you wouldn't have the problem with all the rocks, but this thing works pretty good for what it is. Time to go to a reunion and drink some beer. So I'm gonna try and throw seed down tomorrow and pack it in, and we'll be good to go. So couple weeks we'll see what we got. So this year we're doing a little different. We made the food plot twice the size, or even more than that, right? It was just this little bit last year, and now we added all of this to it, so at least twice the size. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around that outer edge, all around that outer edge, and we're gonna try this new stuff here that I found on the internet called Frigid Forage Plot Screen. And it says this little bag plants a ½ an acre. So I'm thinking if I'm just going around that edge out there, no way that's a ½ an acre. That's not even a ¼ acre probably. So I'm gonna use like 1/4 to a half of this bag of seed. And it says planted about 16 feet wide. So about, you know, from that tree to the edge of where I plowed is about 16 feet. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna go from that tree there, and I'm gonna go all the way around the outside edge there, up to that corner back there where that white post is sticking out of the ground. And that's gonna block the deer off from the open field, and maybe give them a little more security that they come out a little earlier. Maybe the bigger ones will come out earlier, hopefully into the field here, if they feel they're a little more protected, maybe. That's the idea behind it. So let's get some seed down. So this seed is pretty small. So I'm gonna dial that thing back to like about a 3, and hopefully that keeps it from spreading too heavy. They say you don't want to put it down too heavy. If I put half the bag in there, we'll see what it does. I was just about right, a ½ a bag. Went 1 pass down and 1 pass back, and that was almost empty by the time I got back here. So ½ a bag. We'll see how that works. We'll see what grows. So for the rest of the food plot, again this year we're going to use the power plant by Imperial Whitetail. This stuff worked really good last year. The deer just loved it. It did not grow very tall. It didn't grow 4 feet tall or whatever it's supposed to be, because they overgrazed it. So that's why we're making a food plot twice the size this year. We're going to see if it grows a little taller. But if there's that many deer out here, I don't see that it'll grow, because they'll be eating it like crazy again. So we're gonna do it again this year. We're gonna see how it grows, and I'm sure we'll do just fine. This seed's a little bigger kernel, so we're gonna have to open that up a little bit, maybe a 4 or 5, and see how that spreads. So I put down a whole bag. A bag says it plants 3/4 to 1 acre. So I don't know, you know, I'm just guessing. I don't have even an acre here, so I put down 1 full bag. So we'll see how that grows. So we're gonna take the 4-wheeler now, and we're gonna pack that all in. Well, that's about it. We got her all packed down. All I'm doing is I drive over that field over and over and over until all I see are tire tracks. Once I have it so that there's really no loose dirt, that's all I'm looking for. Just solid tire tracks, and that's got the seed all packed into the dirt then, so there's some contact between the seed and the dirt, and we get pretty good results that way. So we're gonna come back in a couple weeks, probably around July 4th, and we'll see what kind of results we have, what's growing, how good it's growing. so we'll be back. I wanted to show you in the background here behind me, you can see the plot screen is growing really well. It's well over 4 feet tall probably, or close to 4 feet tall. The food plot itself is a lot of weeds, and I expected that because it was newly plowed this year again. So there's a lot of fern growing in here and whatever. Let me see if I can show you a closer look at that. So here you got all this fern, grass growing along with the stuff that's supposed to be growing, but the deer are in here eating it. So it's not a big issue, but it would be nice if I could get rid of all that grass. It doesn't matter how much I spray it, it just keeps growing back because there's so much of it in here. So we'll spray it again this weekend and see if that helps. But in reality, it is what it is. You know, we're doing it on a small scale here. We're not using big equipment to dig this up, so the roots are still in the ground, and it's just not. You're not going to get rid of it for a while. It takes a few years to get rid of all that root. So what I'm out here to do today is I'm going to go around the outside, and I'm going to make a little, 8-foot wide, 10-foot wide path with my plow, and then I'm going to throw down the tall tine tubers from Whitetail Institute, and so that gives them something later in fall this year to munch on, because last year, once we got to early November, this stuff was all dead. We had early snow on November 5th or whatever, and this was all dead right after that snowstorm. So hopefully the tall tine tubers will give them something else to eat later into the gun season. So we're gonna just plow this up, go around just the outside edge I'm gonna do, and then throw some seed down today. All right, so we got the 8-foot, 10-foot section there plowed up. A lot of grass in there. You don't realize how much grass is growing until you just try plowing it. It just why I went over this 10 times to get that grass ripped up. So we're gonna go back, we're gonna get a rest spray, and we'll spray the field here, and we're gonna put down the tall tine tubers. The tall tine tubers is a Whitetail Institute product, just like purple top turnips or whatever, so lasts into the colder weather better. So we're gonna get that all done today yet, and we'll see what it looks like in September when we come up. I think what happened here is when I planted the power plant, we had a kind of a drought up here, so there was no rain for almost a month, and the power plant, if you saw the pictures from around July 4th, the power plant wasn't growing very well, and the field was almost bare here. It was still brown. So after that, they got some rain finally, and I think the grass just took over. It just grew, and the seed was so far behind already because it hadn't grown, and the grass just took over. So we'll spray it and we'll see what happens. That's the way it is. Every year it's going to be different. Well, I broke the plow. That old metal can't handle them rocks. When it hits that rocks, it just snaps them off. It's the second time this has happened to me. Good winter project to get that welded back up, I guess. So we're ready to go in spring again. So it is now Labor Day weekend, September 1st, and we were out here in food plot number 2. Now, last video I showed you food plot number 2. This was all grass growing like crazy in here, so I sprayed it with Arrest, and the Arrest works. It killed all the grass, but it does not kill the rest of the weeds. If you see behind me here, it's all weeds growing along with the power plant that I planted. And then if you look along the edge there, that's where I planted the turnips, and that seems to be doing fine. It looks like it got a little heavy in some spots. I didn't get it laid down as nice as they should have probably. But it's growing, and because I plowed it again in August or whenever that was, the weeds aren't growing like crazy in there because you know, after August we don't get a whole lot of rain up here. It's pretty dry, so that plot screen is really growing good. That's got to be 6 feet tall now, so that's good. That worked real well. As far as the food plot goes, I mean, it is what it is. The weeds took over. There ain't much you can do about it. I could mow it or whatever, but it's already going on hunting season here, so we're just gonna let it go and see what happens with it this year. Well, it's October 19th. I really wanted to end my food plot video with a nice bow kill for you guys, but we're not seeing any deer out here. Does and fawns is all we're seeing. Nothing on the cameras either. We had a couple early frosts. The food plot's pretty much, there's nothing there, you know. The plot screen, I don't know if you can see that. You see the plot screen over there? That's all dead. And it's only October 19th. You know, this didn't happen last year until like beginning of November. But we had some really hard frosts. The pipes on the trailer were frozen and broken off. So everything's dead there that they want to eat. So that explains why there's nothing on the camera. If there's no food, they're not going to be here. We're going to spend our time. That's all we can do. You know, this is the property we hunt. We're doing the best we can to try and get the deer to come in. They don't stay here. We still got a lot of work to do, hinge cutting and other stuff to try and get deer to stay on the property. But it is what it is. It's hunting northern Wisconsin, Hamburg Acres, you know. But you never know. One might just show up tonight, so gotta put your time in.